Moldy floors are becoming a common problem these days, at least that's what we're seeing on our end as consultants, and quite frankly, I think we're going to see a lot more of it unless we start changing the way that we build to accommodate the materials and finishes that we want to use. We're not paying attention to material properties, how we are placing certain materials within a floor system, and how they interact with the assembly. The mold problems that we're seeing are 100% preventable and traceable. In this video, we're talking about why we're seeing a spike in moldy floors, especially in warm, humid climates, and what we can do to prevent these problems from happening in the first place. So, moldy floors and subfloors, where does it all go wrong? One of the most common floor finishes for new builds and retrofits alike happens to be LVP, or luxury vinyl plank. Laminate is another very common floor finish, along with tile. Now, what do all of these materials have in common? Well, they all happen to be pretty effective vapor barriers. LVP is made of vinyl and is known for being pretty much a perfect vapor barrier. Laminate is made out of high-density fiberboard and is coated with an impermeable water-repellent finish that is resistant to foot traffic and is often installed over a vapor-impermeable underlayment. Tile can potentially be vapor-permeable if it's unglazed or natural stone, but we install tile over a plastic uncoupling membrane to prevent it from cracking and to protect the subfloor or substrate below so that moisture doesn't wick into it and damage it, but again, those uncoupling membranes are vapor barriers. Now, this isn't a problem if the floor assembly below is over living space and can dry out in at least one direction. We've never seen problems with these floorings when they're on a second floor or when they're above a basement. If stuff gets wet, it just dries downwards. The air inside the home is kept at fairly consistent temperatures and relative humidity, and overall, it's a very stable building condition. But this equation changes as soon as we start to install these materials and floor systems over a vented crawl space. We're now sandwiching our moisture-sensitive floor framing and subfloor between a vapor barrier and a humid, unconditioned environment below. The so-called vapor barrier that are your floor finishes is located in the wrong place in an assembly like this because moisture in the air in the crawl space is constantly trying to make its way to the interior. We have warm, humid air inside the crawl space. It wants to move in the direction of the cooler, drier interior space. That's the second law of thermodynamics simplified. The temperature of the floor finishes and subfloor is going to be cool because the living space is presumably being air-conditioned if you're in a warm, humid climate, and will be the first condensing surface in the floor assembly. This means that condensation will form on this surface if the dew point temperature is reached. The floor finishes inhibit inward drying because they are vapor impermeable. If we're in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's summertime, and it's 90 degrees outside and 70% relative humidity, and I've got a vented crawl space where I'm letting all of that humid Atlanta air into my floor system, my dew point is going to be at almost 79 degrees. If I'm operating at 72 or 74 degrees on the interior of my building because I need air conditioning, I'm going to get condensation on the underside of my subfloor, and that's exactly what happens. But the mold and moisture issues don't just start when there's condensation, it actually starts beforehand. If my crawl space is constantly operating under humid conditions and my floor framing is exposed or unprotected, the moisture content of these wooden framing components will increase with high relative humidity in the absence of visible condensation. When the moisture content of wood exceeds 20% for an extended period of time, we immediately start to increase our risk of surface mold growth. If it's above 24% moisture content for an extended period of time, we drastically increase the potential for mold growth, and if we're seeing anything above 28% moisture content, mold is a guarantee, as well as other rot and decay fungi. It gets worse. A shocking amount of builders, specifically in places like California, omit a vapor barrier in their vented crawl spaces. The ground and soils are basically one enormous sponge. The relative humidity of your soils will always be around 100%, and so you'll always have moisture drying up from the soils into the crawl space, raising the relative humidity in the crawl space, and increasing the potential for condensation to form on the underside of the subfloor, which is magnified by air conditioning. Now, it would be one thing if builders designed their floor assemblies in their vented crawl spaces to manage humidity by air sealing the underside of the floor joists with either taped rigid foam insulation or encapsulating the joists in closed cell spray foam to prevent condensation on the underside of the subfloor, which still isn't a great solution because we're still sandwiching moisture-sensitive framing between two vapor-impermeable materials, but that's just not how people build these vented crawl spaces. We see air-permeable batt insulation being installed between the floor joists and maybe a loose sheet of Tyvek or Typar to hold everything in place, and that's about it. So we need to acknowledge the material properties of these flooring types and that they're highly vapor impermeable, or they're installed over highly vapor impermeable underlayments, and the way that they're installed is incompatible with certain floor assemblies like vented crawl spaces. So what's the fix for this? How do we still get our LVP or whatever impermeable floor finishes we want to install without the mold problems? It's actually pretty simple. Instead of a vented crawl space, we want to switch to a conditioned crawl space. If you watched last week's video, we talked about slabs and crawl spaces and why a conditioned crawl space is the direction that we want to head in if possible. Go and check out that video, which you can watch up here. But the key takeaway is that instead of insulating and air sealing the floor itself from the underside of the floor system, we move that insulation to the stem walls and enclose the crawl space within the conditioned living space, very, very similar to a typical basement. The subfloor and framing is kept at the same interior temperatures and relative humidity conditions, and it has the ability to dry downwards into the crawl space. The crawl space, being conditioned, receives fresh air circulation from the interior and is completely located within the interior pressure boundary. The vapor barrier installed over the crawl space floor is sealed and keeps moisture and soil gases out of the home, and if you want even more protection, you can install a 2-inch rat slab over it. No condensation forms on the underside of the subfloor because, again, the subfloor is kept at the same temperature and relative humidity conditions as the rest of the interior space. The crawl space doesn't have humidity issues because it receives air change and dehumidification, and the only source of moisture that the crawl space is exposed to is coming from the interior, not the exterior. Now, people want to pretend like a conditioned crawl space is more expensive, but it's actually easier to execute and uses less material. With a vented crawl space, you essentially have to insulate and air seal the entire square footage of the bottom floor versus just the perimeter of the foundation wall. Much less material, much easier to air seal from the exterior with some air sealing tape or a liquid applied flashing at the mudsill to sheathing and stem wall connection. Guys, if you want to see more mold prevention content or mold failures, let us know in the comments below, as well as anything else you want to see and learn about. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more weekly building science videos, and head over to our website at asiri-designs.com, where we have over 150 free building science articles that cover a wide range of topics. Links will be in the description below. For now, good luck with your projects. Cheers.